Hello everyone, this is Somashekar working as Assistant Professor in Ramachandra Engineering College in Civil Department. Today we are going to discuss regarding the topic on statically determinate and indeterminate structures as well as arches, which is a topic in Structural Analysis 2 in 3-1 semester. So let us discuss regarding determinate and indeterminate structures. So what is meant by determinate structure? Determinate structure is nothing but a structure which can be analyzed by using the equilibrium equations alone. Then that structure can be treated as a determinate structure. We have three equilibrium equations. What are they? Sigma h, sigma v and sigma m. If there are three unknown reactions which can be solved by using these three equilibrium equations, then that structure can be known as statically determinate. That means, so a structure is an assemblage of a number of components like slabs, beams, columns, walls, foundations and so on, which remains in equilibrium. It has to satisfy the fundamental criteria of strength, stiffness, economy, durability and compatibility for its existence. So in order to counteract all these factors, a structure is generally classified into two categories which already discussed, that is determinate and indeterminate structures or redundant structures. Indeterminate structures, the other name is redundant. So we already discussed regarding determinate structures. So let us see, any structure is designed for the stress resultants of bending moment, shear force, deflection, torsional stresses and axial stresses. If these moments, shear and stresses are evaluated at various critical sections based on those, the proportioning can be done. So determination of dimensions for these components of the stresses and proportioning is known as design. While going for design, we have to analyze the structure as well as the loads which are acting on it in the aspect of shear force, bending moment, as well as the torsional moment, stresses, strains which are acting on the structure by the external load. So in order to analyze, first we have to know whether the structure is a determinate one or indeterminate one. So based on the type of structure, we have to go for the analysis. So that is what we are discussing, as we already discussed regarding determinate structures. So determinate structures are nothing but the simply supported beam, cantilever, single and double overhanging beams, three hinged arches. These structures are already known as determinate structures because they have only three equilibrium equations and three unknowns which are satisfying in order to solve the beam. That is determinate. So determinate structures we already discussed. So let us discuss regarding indeterminate. A structure is termed as statically indeterminate if it cannot be analyzed from the principles of statics alone. The principles of statics alone means sigma h, sigma v, sigma m. These three are statically determinate structure. I mean equilibrium equations. If these equations are satisfying the unknown reactions which are situated in a particular beam, then that structure is determinate. If the number of equations greater than 3, then it is indeterminate. Okay, so that is indeterminate structure. So in indeterminate structure also, these are classified into two types. They are externally indeterminate, internally indeterminate. Externally indeterminate example, continuous beams and frames. Internally indeterminate trusses. So let us discuss regarding some examples. If you discuss regarding, here it is fixed beam, here 3. This is roller, means it can move horizontally and it can rotate with axis. So 1. Here this is also roller, 1. Total 5. But we have 3. So 2 extra reactions. So it is indeterminate. Next, if you see here 3, here 3. This is also indeterminate. Next one, this is hinge. Hinge means it only rotate. It has 2 reactions, it has 1 reaction. And if we go, this is a truss. So here we have joints also, members also. Here also we have some unknown reactions. So we have to solve. So it is indeterminate. Next this one also. Here 2, here 1. But here some internal joints are there. So which has to be solved, that is internally indeterminate. These are externally indeterminate. Okay. Next, if we discuss regarding externally indeterminate, already we discussed the examples of externally indeterminate are continuous beams and frames. So a structure is usually externally indeterminate or redundant if the reactions in the supports cannot be determined by using three equations of equilibrium. That is sigma h, sigma v, sigma m. So in the case of beams subjected to vertical loads, only two reactions can be determined by conditions of equilibrium. Therefore, simply supported cantilever and overhang beams shown in figure 2 are statically determinate structures. So if we look over these here, it is simply supported beam. So it is a roller. How many reactions are there? It can move horizontally, it can rotate with the axis. So 1, 1. And it has two reactions. So it is statically determinate. If we discuss regarding here 3, statically determinate. Here 1, 2, 3, statically determinate. That's what he's saying in figure 2, A, B, C, which are statically determinate. So next one, if however a beam rests on more than two supports or in addition any of the end support is fixed, there are more two reactions to be determined. So it is statically indeterminate. These reactions cannot be determined by conditions of equilibrium alone. Therefore, the static indeterminacy or redundancy is given by the number of extra redundant reactions that are to be determined. Let us see the examples of statically indeterminate structures and their degree. Statically indeterminate and degree of indeterminacy we have to know. So these are the examples. Here it is a fixed support. Here we have three reactions. Here we have three reactions. Only total 6 reactions total, but we have only 3 equilibrium equations, 3 extra indeterminate. Next, if we look over here 1, 1 and here 3, total 5, and we have 3, so indeterminacy is 2. Okay, statically indeterminate, that 2 externally, and the indeterminacy is here 3, here 2. Next, an external static indeterminacy is statically indeterminate if there are only 3 external reactions, because there are 3 conditions of equilibrium for such a system. External static indeterminacy shown in figure 4 are statically indeterminate because there are only 3 reactions to be determined. Let us see in the next slide where the examples are representing. So if your external static indeterminacy has more than 3 reactions, it is statically indeterminate. The degree of indeterminacy or redundancy being equal to the number of redundant or extra reactions to be determined. So let us see the examples here. So if we look over here 1, here 2, determinate. Here how many? This is roller, no? 1, here 2, determinate. Here 1 and here 2, determinate. How many here? 3, determinate. Next slide if we look over. The statically indeterminate beams and frames can be analyzed by strain energy method, 3 moment equation, slope deflection method, or moment distribution. These 3 methods or 4 methods you have already done in 2 semester for SCA1, where you are analyzing the continuous beams by using the 3 moment equation, slope deflection equation or method, and moment distribution. Strain energy, which is the 5th unit in the SCA1, where you discussed regarding the analysis of a beam, which are statically indeterminate. Let us discuss regarding the internally indeterminate structures. The stress is statically determinate internally if the total number of members satisfy this condition, that is m equal to 2j minus 3, where j equal to number of joints. So a truss having more than 2j minus 3 ante number of joints into 2 minus 3 if the members, these members are greater than 2 times of joint minus 3, then it is said to be statically indeterminate, and degree of indeterminacy will be decided based on the number of unknown reactions we have. So this is one example where 1 degree, this is 2 degree. Okay, next slide. We are going to the arches, which is the first topic in SA2 in first unit. So generally if you look over here, this is the arch, this portion is the arch, and these are the supports. So let us discuss regarding definition of arch. An arch may be defined as mechanical representation or arrangement of wedge shaped, these are the wedge shaped blocks of stones or bricks mutually supporting each other and supported at the end by piers. These are piers, this one pier and this is the another pier or abutments. So if any arch is made of bricks or stone in such a way that you are arranging them in the shape of a wedge so that it will form a arch, then that type of an arch is known as brick arch or stone arch. Brick or stone arch. The other definition for the arch is an arch is a curved structure. This is curved structure, no? An arch is a curved structure that supports a weight which is acting. This is the arch which is supporting the weight acting on it, and its nature is compressive and it is restricted for lateral movement at supports. Here these are the supports where these arches are restricted to move in the lateral direction, in this direction. Then the type of a structure which is constructed in order to weigh the extra load which is acting above on it, which is a compressive nature predominantly, in such a way that the ends of these arches which are ability to restrain over the lateral direction by the effect of the supports provided at the ends, then that type of structure is known as a arch. So let us discuss regarding the basic concept of arch. So already we discussed that this arch is a compressive member. Why? Because since the load which is acting above on it will compress it, so that's why it is known as a compressive form, and it can span a large area by resolving the forces into compressive stresses. These forces which are acting, let it be acting in the angle as it is going downwards, so these forces will be resolved into vertical and horizontal, and these forces are in which nature? Compressive nature, in turn eliminating the tensile stresses. So if these are compressing the arch in order to restrain over this area only without any lateral movement, such that it is restraining against the tensile forces, this is sometimes referred to as an arch action. As a force in the arch are carried to the ground, the arch will push outward at the base. As the forces in the arch are carried to the ground by the support of these abutments on piers, such that these forces will carry towards the support which is provided on either ends of that semicircular arch or any type of arch, such that the reaction will be developed or it will push us outwards at the base, which is known as a force or thrust. Okay, as the rise of the height of the arch increases, this is the rise, this portion is rise. We should not take from the base of the support, we have to take from the starting portion of the support where this arch rests. From there to the center point of the arch is known as rise. So as these rise or the height of the arch decreases, the outward thrust increases. Outward thrust increases. Why? Because since it has less height, such that these forces will tend to reach very easily such that the thrust forces easily. The thrust needs to be restrained either with internal ties or external bracing such as abutments. So these are those which will support the arch. Next we have to discuss regarding types of arches. So these arches are classified based on different materials, shape, structural behavior. If you look over this on the basis of material, first one is masonry. Masonry means arrangement of any material in a sequential of order by attaching them with the cement paste mortar. That sort of work is known as masonry. Here we are using the brick in order to construct a arch, that is known as brick masonry, stone masonry. Next, by the use of steel. Next, by the use of reinforced cement concrete where the steel is incorporated into the concrete. And the last one is pre-stressed concrete where it is a similar process of reinforcing the steel, but the steel has to be tensioned before the casting or after the casting. That is a advanced technology which can bear heavy loads. And the next classification is based on shape. We have parabolic shape. Parabolic means this is parabolic shape. Next one is circular. Circular means this is circular. Just observe the difference. Circular. Next, elliptical. Elliptical means this is elliptical. Next, many other shapes. So these are the shapes of the arches. Based on these shapes also they are classified. And last one is based on structural behavior. Based on the number of reactions and the supports, the type of supports we are providing at the either ends of the arch. They are classified into 2-hinged arch, 3-hinged arch, fixed arch, tied arch. Let us see these arches and their figures. So here first one is fixed arch where this is the fixed support, reactions 3 3 means what is the static indeterminacy? 3, because 6 reactions, 3 equilibrium. Here if you observe, this one is 2-hinged arch. This is 2-hinged arch because this is hinge, this is hinge. Hinge means 2 2. We have 4, 3 equilibrium equations. Indeterminacy 1. And this is 3-hinged arch. So how many? 2 2 3-hinged arch. Okay, here 2 2, here 1. Okay, this is 3-hinged arch and this is tied arch where the bottom portions are provided with hinge but these two edges are connected with a tied or thread or elastic member. So that's why it is known as tied arch. So next, components of arch. There are various components which we have to discuss by showing the figure here. This is the base portion of the arch, that is known as a springing line or span. And if you observe, this is the radius and this is crown and keystone. Keystone means at the crown portion the material we are used in order to construct, that is keystone. And this curve, the curve portion above the surface is known as extrados and interior surface is known as intrados. And these members on this curved surface are voussoirs and this is rise. I already mentioned that from the supports to the central portion it is known as rise, and these are abutments. Okay, so these abutment, arch sheeting, camber, crown, extrados, heading joint, intrados, soffit, keystone, length, pier, ringing stones, rise, back, span, spandrel. Let us see spandrel. So here this is center line, no? Keystone, crown. This is springing line. Spandrel means this total portion which is known as spandrel. So these are the components of arch. Thank you.